Hey guys, how's it going? This is Pantaladeth here, and today I'm bringing you a new series that I'm going to be doing on this channel. It's called Gears of War Warpath. Now this series is just going to be me talking about, the storyline in Gears of War, but not the storyline that you see in the first, second, and third game, but the storyline that you would have to read the novels to really understand. But if you don't feel like reading the novels, which I seriously suggest you do because they're really, really, really good, if you don't feel like reading those, if you don't have the time, which I know most of you do, you guys are just probably too lazy, but anyway, if you guys don't want to read the books, then come to these videos, because I will be explaining the story in pretty deep depth, if that makes any sense at all. But anyway, I don't really have a transition from here to what I'm going to be talking about, so I'll just get straight into it. The Age of Armageddon. Now, people think that Gears of War is just based around the Locust and Human War, but it's really not. Before the Locust-Human War, there was the Pendulum Wars, which is kind of explained in Gears of War 3, not too much in Gears 2, and not even mentioned in Gears 1. But even before the Pendulum Wars, there was this war called the Age of Armageddon. Now, this was a millennium-long war that almost exterminated the human race, right? And this, not too many details were given on it, and it's just really vague details. Like, it doesn't explain why, what it was fought over. It just says like it almost just killed the human race. So not too many details were given on why it stopped, but it's just said the humans of Sierra just saw the error of their ways, and they just ended it because they're like, I really don't want to fucking get exterminated here. We're gonna stop killing each other. So they did. And this just brought the Golden Age. Now, the Golden Age is just the equivalent of our Renaissance. A bunch of technological advances happened. Huge, like a ton of art forms were taken. Poetry was written in this era, and just it was a very prosperous and peaceful era. But then a fuel crisis hit Sierra, and people were going to extreme lengths to ration any kind of fuel source they had to survive in daily life. And this kind of raised tensions between countries a lot until Helena, it's pronounced both ways, Helen Cooper, she discovered the light mass process, and this process just makes emulsion, which is just basically the equivalent of water on our planet. It takes emulsion and makes it into a usable fuel source, and this was a huge part in the story because the COG, the Tyrant country, which was the basis of the COG, they had a massive amounts of emulsion reserves, right? So they taxed it to an extreme amount. So like, the countries that didn't have any emulsion reserves, they could not even afford this. Like, it was just way out of range, like worse than gas prices are now. And it's just crazy because the countries that didn't have these emulsion reserves, the countries that didn't have them formed an alliance with each other called the Union of Independent Republics, the UIR. Now, this was a huge driving force for war because this launched the Pendulum Wars, and they invaded the COG and any other some of the southern islands that were below the COG that had small amounts of fuel reserves. Now, this war, the Pendulum War, lasted 79 years. That's just crazy if you think in terms of like World War II lasted like, what was it? It was like 6 or 7 years around there. That, if you think about it in terms of that is insanely long. And the Pendulum Wars lasted 79 years until the Battle of Asphalt Point. Now, this is when the COG ran in to steal the technology of the Hammer of Dawn that the UIR developed. Now, contrary to popular belief, Adam Phoenix did not invent the Hammer of Dawn. A man named Maurice Ivo did. He invented the basis of it. There were a few flaws with it, so the COG invaded Asphalt Point, where the schematics were held, and they stole it, made it, they gave it to Adam Phoenix. He made it a little better. He used crystallized emulsion and put it in a satellite, launched it up into space, and used remote technology to fire it down on the ground. This thing could destroy entire continents. you know, which is the equivalent of the Western Hemisphere on our planet. This thing is just worse than a weapon of mass destruction. It was just God. Like, you should fear this thing for your life. And they stole it and used it against the UIR to make them surrender, thus ending the Pendulum Wars, which kind of launched everything into what is it? Into the era of silence. Now, I'm gonna kind of get into that stuff more and more in my next couple episodes because this gameplay wrapped up. So if there's anything you guys want me to talk about, if you think I should keep doing this in the future, if you have any topics you're kind of questionable on, then leave a comment down below, tell me about it, and I will do my best to try and explain it in a later video. But anyway, this guys has been Pantalideth as usual, and I'll talk to you guys later.